The waves lapped against the jagged rocks of Skalewater's cliffs, each surge carrying whispers of something ancient and dangerous. Above, Skalewater Keep loomed its towers of pale stone piercing the sky, crowned with red roofs that glowed like embers in the morning sun. For centuries, the fortress had withstood war, storm, and time itself. Yet on this day, something far greater than mortal armies stirred in the waters below. Arender, a seasoned monster slayer known as the Wolf of Grycliff, stood at the shoreline, his twin blades strapped across his back. His silver hair caught the wind, his eyes fixed on the heaving surface of the bay. He had hunted creatures of nightmare all his life, harpies that could peel the flesh with a scream, wraiths that whispered madness, wyverns with venom like liquid fire. But the thing rising from Skalewater's depths was no ordinary beast. The water exploded. A colossal figure broke the surface, each step shaking the ground as if a mountain had waded ashore. Its body was thick and muscular like an ogre's, but its head was that of a monstrous shark rows of jagged teeth, gleaming crimson from its last meal. Its dorsal fin split the air, cutting through mist, while leather harnesses and rusted chains clung to its bulk, relics of some long-forgotten attempt to bind it. "By the gods," Arender muttered, tightening his grip on his spear. The beast roared, a guttural, oceanic bellow that rattled the very stones of Skalewater Keep. From the battlements above, soldiers gasped in horror. Some dropped their bows outright, for who could believe that such a nightmare had crawled from the sea? The curse of Skalewater, long ago, before the keep was raised. Skalewater Bay had been home to the Serati, an ancient order of sea warlocks who drew their power from the abyss. In their arrogance, they conjured a guardian, a leviathan forged from the essence of sharks and giants, meant to protect their sanctums. But the creature was too powerful, too willful. It devoured its masters and vanished into the dark tides. The centuries passed, and Skalewater Keep rose upon the ruins of Serati temples. The lords of the keep dismissed the old stories as Seller's superstition until now, for the curse had returned. The first clash. Arender descended from the rocks, planting his boots firmly on the wet sand. His spear gleamed with runes, etched for piercing hides thicker than steel. Behind him, the castle horn blared, warning the people within that the tide carried death. The shark giant lunged forward, one massive arm sweeping down like a falling tree. Arender rolled aside, the ground splitting as claws tore through stone and earth. He thrust his spear, the point biting into the creature's thigh. Black-green blood spilled, hissing where it struck the water. The beast snarled and kicked, sending Arender sprawling. The hunter rose, unshaken, his eyes cold. He had fought trolls larger than cottages and drakes that could blot out the sun. Size alone did not decide a battle. "Come then," he growled, drawing one of his silvered swords. "Let's see what nightmares bleed." The people of the keep, from the battlements above, Lady Muriel watched with dread. She was ruler of Skalewater, a woman both sharp of mind and strong of will. Her people trusted her, yet in this moment, she felt the weight of their fear pressing against her shoulders. "Loose the ballistae," she commanded. Great bolts whistled down, striking the Leviathan's hide. Some pierced its flesh, others bounced harmlessly. The beast howled and turned its fury toward the walls. One swipe of its arm shattered stone, sending defenders plummeting into the sea. "Hold fast," Muriel cried, though her heart trembled. Her gaze turned to Arender, the lone figure standing against the impossible. Could one man truly stop what her entire garrison could not? The hunter's gambit. Arender fought with grim precision, darting between the monster's steps, carving lines of blood across its skin. Each strike seemed to wound it, but never enough to slow its fury. The air stank of brine and rot, as if the creature carried the ocean's graveyard with it. He needed more than steel. Digging into his pouch, Arender pulled forth a vial glowing with sickly green light alchemical fire. He hurled it into the beast's mouth as it roared. The explosion lit its jaws from within, sending smoke pouring from its gullet. The shark giant reeled, thrashing in pain, smashing its fists against the shore. For a moment, hope stirred. But then the beast's wounds began to knit, flesh sealing with unnatural speed. Arender cursed it under his breath. Regeneration. Damn sin magic. The secret beneath Lady Muriel fled to the keep's archives, where dusty scrolls told of the Serati. She pored over faded ink, her fingers trembling. There had to be something, some weakness, some key. At last she found it, a passage describing the Leviathan's bond to the deep. The beast shall not perish by steel nor flame, but by the breaking of its tether. Within its breast lies the abyssal heart, a crystal of the Serati's making. Destroy it, and the creature shall be unbound. Muriel's blood ran cold. The heart was inside the monster. Someone would have to cut it free. She looked once more from the tower window, watching Arender battle alone. There was no one else who could do it. Into the maw, the shark giant swung its clawed hand, striking Arender across the rocks. His armor screeched under the blow, but he rose again, blood dripping from his lip. He had felt worse. Hunter. Muriel's voice carried from the walls. Its heart. Inside its chest, Arender spat, tightening his grip on his sword. Figures. He sprinted forward, dodging another strike, and leapt onto the beast's arm. Clambering up its scaled hide, he drove his blade in for leverage. The monster thrashed, trying to shake him loose, but he climbed higher up the arm, across the shoulder, until he stood upon its broad chest. There he saw it, a faint glow pulsing beneath the flesh, just left of its sternum. The abyssal heart. Got you, Arender hissed. He raised his sword and plunged it deep. The beast roared, clawing at itself, trying to rip him away. Arender twisted the blade, cutting through skin and muscle, until his hand closed around the crystal, a jagged thing that pulsed like a second heart. With a shout, he tore it free. The fall of the Leviathan, the shark giant staggered, its regeneration failing, wounds opening faster than they could close. It bellowed one last time, a sound of rage and sorrow that echoed across the cliffs. Then its body collapsed, crashing into the bay with a tidal wave that shook Skalewater Keep. Arender tumbled into the surf, clutching the abyssal heart. When he emerged, soaked and bleeding, the beast's corpse was already sinking beneath the waves. On the battlements, the people of Skalewater erupted in cheers. Lady Muriel allowed herself a rare smile. Against all odds, they had survived. Epilogue later, in the keep's great hall, Muriel stood before Arender. "You have saved us," she said, her voice soft but filled with reverence. "What price do you ask for such service?" Arender turned the crystal in his hand, its glow fading to ash. He placed it on the table. "Keep your coin," he said. "Just remember the sea never gives up its monsters for long. When the tide calls again, be ready." With that, the wolf of Greycliff departed, his silhouette fading into the mist. Skalewater Keep stood unharmed, but its people would never forget the day the sea sent forth a Leviathan and the lone hunter who defied it.